Hi, this is Brian with White Glove Ninja and Evo Dynamic, and today we're going to talk about WordPress pages, posts, and permalinks. So let's get started. Okay, starting where we always start, we've got two tabs open, one with our front end. We're logged in because we've got the black bar at the top, and one with our back end. As we look at posts, we'll start there. Posts are kind of the core piece of content in a WordPress site. Posts can be divided and organized into categories and tags. Categories are kind of a hierarchical arrangement of them, and tags are kind of a specificity arrangement of them, really specific things. So categories can be used in the path for the URL at the top of the screen. Pages, as we go down here, are just another type of post. In the database, there's actually only a post table. There's not a pages table in the database. So a post that's a page is indicated that it's a page by a certain flag that says, hey, this is a page and not a post. When you use the Divi theme, you get this extra type down here, which is a custom post type that Divi created. It's called projects. Many plugins will create custom post types for you to help function and do the things that they do. So posts are used in many different ways. So these projects are called custom post types, and pages are kind of a built-in custom post type. So if we look at our posts and click that, we're going to go to the All Post page. One of the things with posts that's fun to do or helpful to do is to use the Quick Edit menu. So here's a list of all the posts in this new installation of WordPress. And if I hover over that bar, I get this quick launch menu for this post. And I'm going to do the quick edit, which is just going to expand these categories. So I can change the title. I can change the slug that's going to be part of the URL up there. I can change the date. I can put a password on a post, or I can make it private altogether. I can change and set the categories here. I can't create new categories. You have to open the editor for the post to do that. And I can edit tags and change a few of the settings, determine whether it's published or not, or make it sticky or unsticky. If I cancel that and I just click on the title or the edit, that'll bring us into the editor for a post. The editor looks the same whether you're editing or creating a new post. You've got the title up here and you've got your content down here. On the sidebar, a lot of the same options, but there's more because it's not the quick edit. We've got more features here. Here you can change your publish date to the future. The post format, what kind of a post is it? Should it be sticky? So they use different terminology here. Sticky means this post is going to stay at the top all the time. So if you have something that's going on in 2 months and you want to create a sticky post to stay up at the top the whole time, you would create a sticky post so that when you make your weekly posts or whatever your publishing frequency is, you can set those to come in underneath your sticky post. If you're publishing on a regular schedule, you can use this publish date to set which day this post goes published. So if you're publishing every week on a Monday or Thursday, or every month on the 20th, or on the second Thursday, you can set a publish date out in the future, and that's when your site or the post will go live. The URL slug, again, is the path for this. And we'll talk about permalinks because that can determine what your path looks like. And it's pretty important to use permalinks and use it correctly. Here's the categories. Never use uncategorized. I use uncategorized as a filter for me to know that I haven't done my job. But add a new category for each post, and you can add subcategories to further define that. For our blog, we usually have a lot of posts under WordPress for White Glove Ninja as a category, and underneath that we have different categories to be more specific about that. We don't use tags too much, but they're also helpful in SEO and thinking about being really specific about an item. So maybe it's something I don't have a category for. I might throw in a tag here for WordPress posts if this were a blog post. Featured image is where you set an image. The default settings for a featured image will be to put the image you pick in there, and it'll put it at the top of the post, and then it'll put it at the top of each post in the search page or the listing page, the feed. Remember, whenever you're putting in an image, you use an alt text for those with disabilities, as well as a title and a description before you set that image on your post. And then the excerpt is a little blah 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 about your post. If you don't fill in an excerpt, it'll use the first 55 words of your material, or if you use an excerpt, it will show this instead. If you have the settings set up, and we'll go back and look at that in a little bit. You can allow comments, tracking, you can set your page layout for Divi default. There's the right, left, and no sidebar. And you can change how the navigation behaves for the site. Then you just fill in your content. Here we like to use the Divi builder, so you can use that and use a template. We're not building posts here, we're just talking about them. So update these changes that we made, and then we can take a look at what we see on the front end. So we'll switch to our front end tab. I'll just reload this page. And there, put our featured image in here and the blog text right there. So that is a post. Go into the back end again. And pages are the same thing. We've got a couple pages here. Here's the one we worked on the other day. I'm going to edit that right now because we didn't have a title on it. So I'm going to add a title. And this is the test doggy page with layout pack. Pretty much the same thing as a post, but it's a page. I can give it a URL slug. Let's call it just doggy. So doggy is showing up here as our URL. Set the featured image. And we'll get this different dog here. Remember, put in an alt text, a title, and a description for any content that you're posting on your site. Set that as my featured image for this page, and I can have an excerpt for a page as well. I can allow comments on a page, pretty rare to do that. I can set dot navigation, that's kind of cool. It's kind of that scroll bar of dots along the side, and changing the default navigation handling. So that's a page. It's just a post type. It's treated about the same way, except it's indicated that it's a page. If I go back to the front end now and reload this, this should change because we gave this post or this page a title. So now it has a title that it can use as we reload. And there it is, the test doggy page with layout pack. If I hit that, I navigate to that page. You can see doggy will show up here in the menu or in the URL. And then if we go back to the home page, we can see our blog post. This is a post. I can click on the picture or the title to go to that post. And there's our Hello World post. And the comments show up at the bottom. The home page was a summary page showing all the posts. So if we added additional posts, they would all show up here. Let's just do that quick so you can see what that looks like. So go back to our posts, click Add New Posts. Now you can see summary versus single post. And I'll just publish that as it is. Yep, I'm ready. I know we didn't fill out all the gobbledygook on the side. And now we can go back to the front end and reload our home page. And we should see, here's our newest post. And here's our previous post. You can see this text isn't that filler text that we wrote before. Let me show you that. So we made an excerpt before on this. We're going to edit, and we scroll down here. We typed in this excerpt, or you can use an excerpt to show this instead. So right now we don't have the excerpt showing, we have the real text from the page. So if we go to our back end and get out of the editor, and we go to our settings and reading, and for each post in a feed include the summary. So the summary will pick the excerpt instead of the first 55 words of your content. If we save those changes, that'll change our reading settings. And you can see here's the content from the blog, and when we reload on the front end, your excerpt shown down here below, unless you're using Divi. If you're using Divi, you're going to have to go into your back end, into your Divi theme options, and scroll down here and turn on Use Excerpts when defined. So this Divi setting overrides the default reading settings. So if you're using Divi, you're going to have to enable this as well in order to show your excerpts in the summary listing page of your WordPress site. So that's our excerpts. That's posts and pages and custom post types. The last thing on the agenda today is permalinks. So if we go to our settings and go down to permalinks, this is an important setting when you're launching your blog, because this is going to set how the URLs are built for your entire website. Post name is now, I think it is the default. The default used to be this thing. How many people are going to search for P123 on your website when 123 is the ID number for that page or post? So I'm glad they changed that up. But you have some options here. This used to be a really common one about putting all these dates in here, month and year, doing numbers with the ID again, useless for SEO value. So I'm glad they chose post name. I usually hit custom structure and go with post name. That takes my URL and then puts the post name after it. The only time that can cause a problem for you is if you have a page and a post with the same post name, or two posts with the same post name. In those cases, you may want to use a category in there, or an author if you have more than one author writing on your blog. Down below, they've got some bases. Whenever you create a category or a tag, it creates a page for all the things that fit in that category, or all the things that fit in that tag. So if you want to add a category base, it's going to use the category name, but you can add a base too. Topics uncategorized. That would be, instead of saying category uncategorized, you can set what word the categories are called. You can set what word the tags are called in your app. So those are permalinks. Make sure you set those. Choose something that's going to work well for you and give you good SEO value. Also, just today I read an article from Marcus Krupp. Well, not from Marcus Krupp, but he sent an article out that I thought was pretty helpful. And that is, leave underscores out of your page names and URLs. So you can see sample post up here has a dash in it. WordPress is going to fill in dashes. Underscores are bad, dashes are better. I'll put that down in the doobly-doo below this video. That is the end of today's programming. Posts, pages, permalinks, and some extra credit thrown in there. Make sure you save every page when you make changes. Thanks for joining me today to learn about WordPress pages, posts, and permalinks. If you have any other questions and want to know more, drop it in the doobly-doo or in the comments below the doobly-doo. The doobly-doo has the links to our website and other areas that might help you out. So check out the doobly-doo, leave a comment, like it, subscribe to it, and ask us more questions and we'll give you more answers. To the excerpt. And we'll see that change to the excerpt. And it's not the excerpt. Summary. Funny about that. Learn about feeds.